In 1956, the 252,047-acre region, with its mountains, lakes, and woods, was designated as a national park. Lakes currently fill parts of the troughs that glaciers left behind when they carved the valleys during the Ice Age. The valleys formed during the Ice Age, and lakes now fill some of the troughs formed by glaciers. But tragedy struck when the Smith family visited the national park. A coroner's report made a number of recommendations following the death of 55-year-old Tracey Alison Smith in Nelson Lakes National Park on June 1, 2019. Smith and her son traveled to Saint Arnaud from their Tākaka home on May 31, 2019, intending to hike to Angelus Hut. Located in the Travers Range, the hut sits at an altitude of 1,650 meters. The 55-year-old and her teenage son, who were experienced trampers, had intended to go to Angelus Hut but encountered difficulties in adverse winter weather conditions. The Lake Angeles Basin was a popular backcountry site in Nelson Lakes National Park. Angelus Hut sat at 1,650 meters above Lakes Rotoiti and Rotorua in the Travers Range. The pair had completed several multi-day hikes but needed to get more accustomed to trampling in deep snow. After discussing the forecast 85-kilometer winds and minus 16 degrees Celsius temperatures with a Saint Arnaud local, Smith decided to aim for the lower altitude bushline hut instead. However, at the start of the trek, Smith met a group heading to Angelus Hut and decided to join them. Smith and her son left the car park at 9:45 a.m. and reached Speargrass Hut at 1 p.m. 30 miles later, they continued with 6 hikers they'd met earlier. Although they carried plenty of food, they did not eat much in their haste to continue. Smith died after becoming severely hypothermic in blizzard-like conditions with minus 16 degrees in a mountainous Nelson Lakes National Park region. She was dead when the rescue helicopter found her on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on Mount Robert Ridge. She had been tramping with her teenage son. The pair had been trying to get to Angelus Hut on Saturday night, but Smith did not make it. While conditions were initially good, the trek became steep, with thigh-high snow that forced the pair to crawl on their hands and knees at points. The other hikers soon left them behind, arriving at the hut at 6:15 p.m. Smith had leg cramps and was falling over repeatedly. Her son tried to pull her along with a tramping pole, clearing snow ahead of her. As it darkened, the pair donned head torches blown off by the wind. Smith was tired, hungry, and thirsty. Their water bottles had frozen, and she tried to eat snow to quench her thirst. Near the top of the ridge, Smith's son, realizing his mother had hypothermia, tried to help her. He tried to warm her and wanted to feed her scroggin, but was limited by his own fatigue and burgeoning hypothermia. Alone, he attempted to reach the hut, losing his way on the painstakingly slow journey and doubling back to his mother, who was by then not moving. Following the lights, he reached Angelus Hut at 11:15 p.m., where he told the people that his mother had died. The hut warden said she could not radio out as the DOC radio in Saint Arnaud was not staffed until 9 a.m. Checking the hut handbook, she understood, incorrectly, that she could not use the radio to call 111. The warden advised others in the hut to activate their beacon. However, believing Smith had died, the group decided to wait until the next day to avoid putting search and rescue staff at risk. Her son got to the hut and was able to raise the alarm the next morning via radio. They did not have an emergency beacon with them. Smith is the second person to have died attempting the climb in the last 4 years. 4 people have also been rescued from the track during the same period. At 8:45 a.m., the warden radioed for help. An hour and a half later, a helicopter crew found Smith 10 meters from her pack, and a medic confirmed she was dead. Later, a pathologist concluded Smith had died from hypothermia. Coroner Meenal Dougal reported that following Smith's death, DOC altered signage and website information to reflect route hazards and began a review of warden emergency procedures and training. The Mountain Safety Council, MSC, long aware of the dangers of the track, said Smith's decision to proceed to Angelus Hut, likely influenced by others going and failing to turn back once it was clear that she was struggling, contributed to her death. MSC's report found that weather, track conditions, waist-high snow, and visibility were also factors, as was Smith's decision not to stop long enough to eat properly and assess progress. Smith needed to be equipped for the tramp, with no PLB or emergency shelter. Despite having a down jacket and ski gloves in her pack, she wore micro-fleece gloves, a light hat, and cotton and thermal layers, but no insulating layer. The report said that once wet, the cotton layers would have leached heat from the body. things became more challenging due to the low temperature, heavy snowfall, and limited visibility. Smith's poor diet, lack of sleep, and the cotton clothing she was wearing that touched her legs all contributed to the situation. According to Mike Daisley, Chief Executive Officer of the Mountain Safety Council, the incident showed how a sequence of seemingly unrelated tiny mistakes can frequently add up to disastrous outcomes. Tracey might have survived if any one of those crucial choices had been different. It's common to undervalue the significance of seemingly insignificant decisions. There are many small details that are easy to overlook, and when they are all there, they add to the gravity of the situation. The coroner noted traps trampers sometimes made, which influenced Smith's decision-making. Daisley said they were serious, yet common traps for trampers, including the tendency to think a situation was safe because others were doing it, and risk-taking, which happened when trampers were under time pressures. The coroner said Smith had spoken with the lodge manager about where they were staying before heading off. She was advised that Angelus was not a safe option in the deteriorating weather conditions, which included strong winds and temperatures of -16 degrees C. Wayne Green, who owns the Whole Meal Cafe in Tākaka, said Smith's death was a huge shock to the Golden Bay community. It's a small community. Everyone knew her a little bit in different ways. She was involved in quite a lot of things and had a network of people she went tramping with. She was a gentle, genuine person, always well-meaning, Green said. The community's focus was now on the well-being of Smith's family. The death came less than 24 hours after 2 other hikers were rescued from deep snow nearby. The 2 rescued hikers, who were not New Zealand-born but were residents and aged in their 40s, were found in deep snow not far from where the woman died, at 1,800 meters above sea level and about 4 kilometers away from the hut they were trying to reach. Nelson Marlborough Rescue helicopter pilot Duncan Gawley said, "It was blowing snow on Saturday night, and the windy conditions made the rescue difficult." The MSC recommended that hikers heading to the area carry a PLB and emergency shelter, consider their fitness and experience, anticipate terrain and weather changes, and wear appropriate clothing. The report said the MSC leveled no criticism at the hikers at Angelus Hut who decided not to activate their beacon. These concerns were genuine and motivated by a laudable desire not to risk other lives. No personal criticism can be made of decisions that were made in tragic and highly stressful circumstances. The coroner extended his condolences to Smith's family. Smith was already dead when the Nelson Marlborough Rescue helicopter reached her on Sunday morning. She was found in a gully on Mount Robert Ridge. An outpouring of love for Smith can be seen online as tributes flow for the 55-year-old. One person posted on Facebook that she was a kind spirit with healing hands, while others described her as a joy to know and an amazing mother. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section below. If you liked today's video, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.